Hi guys, so today it's this pretty orange and brown black butterfly on daisies. Pretty poison. I'll tell you more. Let's get started. Hello and welcome to Deliberately Creative. I'm Stephanie and I'm here with this really pretty orange and brown black butterfly, and it's on these lovely kind of crazy daisies. These daisies almost look fake. They look like string daisies. So it's really very interesting, but they're real. They're real. And I am excited to play with this and do it. I do have a traceable that's available on my channel. I have a traceable that's available on my website, and you can get the link down below. It is free to download. It's in my image gallery, and if you look through there, you may even see some that might be coming up soon. Just take a look and see if there is. It's kind of fun to look at them. These are also great as coloring sheets. If you don't want to paint right now, but you want to have something to do that's a little bit fun, you have a little reference in the corner and the outline drawing of the main subject. So I hope that that's helpful to you. If you're new here, welcome. I'm excited to be here. As I said, I'm Stephanie. I'm doing this as Deliberately Creative, and I have been on YouTube since 2015 as a teacher of art. Boy, that sounds grand. Actually, I've been playing and taking you guys along with me. That's what's going to happen today. I have not done a test painting of this butterfly. So the only thing I have done is I took some Prussian blue and some Viridian green. I tried it with the Viridian green first and then decided I wanted something a little bit cooler in the background. Viridian is a cool green, but it was a little too dark to start off with. I wanted to go back and forth more. So welcome, welcome. All right, I see folks are starting to show up. Thank you guys so much for being here. And again, if you're new, click that subscribe button and the notification bell so you'll be notified when new videos go up. I see some of my patrons showing up here. Thank you very much. Patrons over on Patreon. I have specific coloring sheets and behind the scenes stuff that goes up over on my Patreon page. And the links for everything is down below. All the materials. I'm working on 140-pound watercolor paper. And that is from Arteza. It's just their standard watercolor paper. It's not the cotton paper. So it's their less expensive. You can get it in really big packs for pretty cheap. Thank you guys. Woohoo! All right. So what I'm going to do is get my Acrylic wax-free. Actually, no, I'm not. No, I'm not. I need to put the background on first. Oh, and you like the Hermione hair today? I put my hair up in a bun and let it dry, and so now it's got this kind of out of control fluffiness going on. That's okay. It's kind of fun that way. And so now I want to go ahead and get us into a canvas close-up view. We're going to be using a whole bunch of colors, but to start off with, I want to put the Viridian green, the mid green. I'm not going to put any more Prussian blue, but I am going to use a little bit of burnt sienna. So let's start out. We're going to put a little burnt sienna out here because there's a little bit of brown and red in the background. Kind of pulls the, when the butterfly goes on, it kind of pulls some of that background forward. The permanent middle green. Oh, I'm going to put some yellow down also to lighten up some of these greens. We're not putting any white in the background. So mid-green, Viridian green. Viridian green is almost a phthalo green. Both greens are made with the PB15, which is pretty much your phthalo blue, and then PY3, which is a lemon yellow, I believe. Let's see. It's the permanent lemon is PY3. So, you know, give you all of the information. I'll take a little bit of the permanent yellow though, this even warmer yellow. And we will get the background in, then we'll brush in a few of the little daisies that are kind of out of focus in the background. Not really going to make those very focused. They're more going to be little splotchy blobs. But you can see there's even some blue in the background and kind of that purpley lighter color. More daisies all blurred out. But to start off with, I want to take that Viridian green, the mid-green light, and a touch of yellow. And we're just going to start putting some green into the background. Take a touch of the burnt sienna, and that darkens our greens down a little bit and gives us more variety in the background. I'm just using a 1-inch flat brush. This is the Simply Simmons Flat Wash. And if anybody is interested, you can do this completely with your acrylic paints. So don't think that you're limited because you don't have gouache. The only thing that gouache gives me is a flat background. It gives me a matte type background instead of a glossy background. I'm just working this color around back and forth. Some of the colors will be a little more transparent. That'll let the blue in the background kind of work forward some. The other thing with gouache, though, is that it does dry a lot faster. So, especially when you're working in thin layers, you will have it moving a lot quicker. You'll have to move a little bit quicker. By working on top of a piece of paper that's already got one layer of paint on it, it does make it stay flatter. You can put gesso on your paper. You notice I'm just sort of working my way across. Do I like flat better than glossy for the background? You know, it all depends. Generally, in nature, your background isn't glossy. So for natural types of things, I kind of do like the flat better than glossy. So now I've got these colors sort of worked on. They're all still damp. So you don't, you know, they're not wet, but they're damp. Let's see, I want to make a little bit of a different green that's a little bit brighter. Looking at that reference up there, pull a lot more of that yellow into it. And I'm using a flat brush just because this is my whitest brush. And when you go from across the corner, it sort of smushes and gives me almost a flat round. It's kind of weird, but I like it that way. Let's see, we're going to get a little bit more light up here. Yes, the acrylic gouache is a flat gouache. It is, or a flat finish or matte finish. So it just gives you a nice, just a nice. How do I want to say that? You know, sometimes your language leaves you when you're doing art things. It just gives a nice finish to it without being too busy. Even though this is a busy background. Look at how busy that is. But because I'm trying to be not as specific with my brush strokes, when we put the really in focus butterfly on top, it's going to be perfect. Now I'm going to rinse out that brush, grab a paper towel, and I'm just really rinsing this out well. Now, the reason why I called this Pretty Poison is because those butterflies, I guess the difference is acrylics are more transparent than any type of gouache. I think that's pretty true. But it's also the carrying medium. Now, this is an acrylic polymer emulsion, but it's made to be opaque and matte. And these are water resistant. So once the background is completely dry, you're not going to lift colors between. I am going to go ahead and grab my white. Ooh, after April, could I do a paper mache course? The only paper mache I've done on my channel before was the paper mache teapot. I've actually had several people looking at that lately, especially since their pottery classes, they can't go to pottery, and some people have to do like projects from home, and if you don't have a way to do pottery from home, you go to paper mache. And so I've got people doing my paper mache teapot lately. Now I'm taking, it's a Royal Soft Grip. It's SG995. I don't know when I got it. It has that little soft grippy thing here, and it's basically a filbert that has a bristle type brush, or bristle type filaments. And I'm just using it to give me some of those little out of focus flowers. Not pressing really hard. I'm using the paint kind of light. See how that worked. Now I'm going to take just a tap of yellow and mix it with the white that's still in my brush. Look at that. We've got those little out of focus flowers already. Yeah, I bet it was from Michael's. They carry a lot of the Royal brushes. So now, if I'm going along the lines of my daisies and then the butterfly, so I need to put a stem holding the daisies. I'm just going to use the Mimic liner brush or rigger brush. This is a number 1 rigger. And I'm going to take some of the yellow and green. That's the mid green, yellow, and a touch of white. And work it on top of that little spot of yellow. There we go. Filling that brush up nicely. I want to get my stem in so then I know where to throw some leaves and things like that. Now my reference photo and my drawing here has this extra little bundle of flowers coming off the side, and I'm not feeling those. So I think that those little flowers are not going to come off, or if they do, it's going to be a much smaller stem with a couple little buds on it. All right. Oh, well, I'm glad that you'll be coming back. You know, remember that you guys, if you're here and you want to just watch the first time and then go through, I just picked up some more of that Viridian green. I want to make this a little bit lighter. I'm going to not perfectly center. I'm going to come off to the side, and I'm going to come up, and I'm just going to give myself a little stem, maybe add a little bit of yellow, get a little bit of a highlight along the edge. There's going to be the butterfly, there's going to be all kinds of things. All kinds of things are going to go on. So maybe I'll send one of those little branches of buds off the other side. That's what I'll do. It just felt like it was falling over if it was all off one edge. Yeah, keeping busy is a really, really important thing right now. Now I'm looking at this and going, all right, there's another little stem. It's kind of coming off down here. And mostly I'm going to put this in just so I know where my leaf is going. I'm going to have another leaf right down here. These rigger brushes are a lot of fun to use. Excellent. Thank you so much for being here. Welcome to all the new people that are joining us. If you click on the little, there's a little, right about there. There's a little icon. If you click on that, it will let you subscribe to the channel right from the video. So now what I want to do is go ahead and get, let's see, where are those leaves? The leaves are behind the daisies. You've been baking all morning. I baked some little raisin buns to go with breakfast today. That was a lot of fun. I love baking. So I'm going to take my flat brush again into the yellow and that mid-green, little touch of the Viridian. And I'm going to go and put a leaf right here. Letting the brush kind of do its thing. Give me a leaf. You don't have to be too fussy with it. The wonderful thing about YouTube is that there's no such thing as really being late, because you can come back and you can watch it again. I'm putting those leaves in. Again, not being too fussy, not being too specific. I'm going to go ahead and put my stem coming across again. That was a little too much white. Like this. Those leaves are behind my fun little spaces. All right, so we're going to go in and put in the bases for those lovely daisies. And I'm going to go back to that bristly filbert type of brush. Again, this is a soft grip, probably from Michaels. It's a M Royal, and it's sort of a bristle filbert brush. And the brush is a little bit wetter because I've rinsed it out once. So now what we want to do, you see that the top daisy is kind of looking away from us. I'm going to go on kind of an angle. Let's see if I can get that to be a better angle for you to see. So I'm going on a bit of an angle with this brush, and I'm going to do short petals in the back. Kind of flatten the brush down a little bit. And I'm letting it be bristly and spray out at the edges. A lot of the effect of this looking like it's falling away from us is going to come when we put the center in, because the center is going to ride up high. Then we can go back, grab a little bit more yellow, white. With that yellow that's in there, just because it makes it look a little bit sun-kissed. I don't know, maybe that helped going to that angle, but I think we're going to go back to this angle. And I want to rinse this brush out and get a bit more white on top. It looks like a blending brush. Yeah, it's kind of like, it would make really nice clouds. But it's stiffer. It's not a soft, fluffy brush. So I don't know exactly what it was made for, but it's nice because it gives us that soft, bristly type of look. Yeah, this isn't a fan brush. A fan brush is whiter and splayed out. You could do it with a fan brush, but I find fan brushes to be kind of finicky. You'd want to be up working on the corner to draw it, and it doesn't carry very much paint. It's, you know, I guess if I wanted to use it for flicking out the edges, that would work. So this makes really nice petals. We're going to go to our next flower. Now we're not going to see the center of this flower, but the butterfly is going to be right over the top of it. And you see a bit of it around the edges of the butterfly. So I do have a printout right here in front of me so I can take a closer look. I have this in my Acrylic April 2020 collection of photographs that I've collected, and those are on the Unsplash. So if you look for Deliberately Creative on Unsplash, you will find my collections. So I didn't take the photograph, but I did collect it. So now I'm going to, let's see here. I'm going to use some water just to show you how big I'm going to do I'm going to draw that on so you can see. That's about how big I'm going to make this flower. And just using water to draw on there, it will disappear and you won't see the water, and it shouldn't interfere too much with making my petals. Let me know if that helped you guys understand what I was doing. These daisies really do have these almost like little filament type petals. They really look like floss flowers. Have you ever made flowers from embroidery floss? That's what it reminds me of. Then we've got another one that's going to be right here, and it's over the top of everything. And I'm not even going to put the yellow center in this one because the butterfly is really the yellow center. But this one, let's see. Well, I can do that again. I'll just take my rigger brush again so that you can see what I'm doing. This one actually is shifted over. And I'm going to have it coming out over those grassy type leaves. Just using water so that you can see where I'm going. So let me know if drawing it on with water like that so you can see is being helpful. So now we're going to just start drawing in towards the center. This one really does come straight towards you. And it's got a nice fluffy center to it. Wow, that center almost looks like a piece of felt embroidered, but it's a real butterfly on real flowers. You know why things happen the way they do, why people craft things the way they do. So how many of you guys are crafters too, that you like to do crafty types of things? I have been a crafter all of my life. So I'm just I took some yellow right onto that brush. I'm going right into the center, making that a bit more solid. Excellent. You know, I would love to be able to start doing crafty things also. Problem with YouTube is that it gets very persnickety on sharing my videos out, or sharing anybody's videos out actually, when you try to do different things. So for a long time, for a couple of years, I was doing that acrylic pouring, and it's still fun to do it, but I don't want to do it on my channel anymore. And it's been real interesting because YouTube started not really sharing out my acrylic pouring videos. So I started doing these kinds of videos. And, you know, it's just, I love doing this kind of art, but I also love doing crafts. So, you know, I was thinking maybe doing some of the felt craft, because I've got a ton of felt and a ton of embroidery floss. I mean, I could just sit and do embroidery. And, you know, maybe we could do live streams where we just do embroidery live stream. That would be really slow and, you know, very, oh, let's see. It would be really slow. It would be fun, but it would be slow. I'm going to go ahead and put my black out now. And I have some orange. So we'll just put a little bit of black out. You don't need to put a ton of this paint out at a time. And remember that these flowers are the supporting characters behind the butterfly. The butterfly is really fun. I'm going to actually draw it on with the white. Oh yes, it would be embroidery for beginners, definitely. Definitely. So I'm going to just draw this butterfly on. Just give you kind of an idea of the shape. Yeah, you really can't see it with the white. With the white there, you really can't see it. So I'll just start getting him drawn in. Well, here. I can draw him in with the chalk pencil a little bit. So we've got a bit of the wing coming across and towards the center. Bit of the wing coming across and towards the center. Butterflies have those lovely double wings. You can't really see that one, but you can see this one. So that's where the butterfly is going to land. Oh yeah, beginners, you know, we doing like straight stitch embroidery, or you know, we could do it on felt, because embroidery on felt is really nice. You don't have to have a hoop to hold on to it. So I'm going to take some of the burnt sienna and the black and make it even more burnt sienna. Make it even more burnt. And we're going to go in and give this little guy his body, just to make it easier for you to see where the heck he's going in. There we go. So there, and then there's a little bit more of his body coming down. I love that, you know, the neat thing about the embroidery, we're doing some, maybe we'll do like doodle stitching type embroidery. When you just use a straight stitch, you can draw on your surface, and you can make all kinds of very intricate patterns with dashed lines, straight lines, and dotted lines. Oh, that's dashed lines too, isn't it? Yeah. All right, so now what I want to do is I'm going to put a little bit of this burnt sienna that's lighter coming out from the body. And that's kind of where the wings are attached. The wings are attached to the middle part of the body. There we go. little bit of that sort of shadow, color coming from the body out, going down towards the bottom wing, the back wing, and the top wing. We're just going to build this butterfly from the ground up. There we go. So now what I want to do is take some of the orange and the burnt sienna. This is the permanent orange and the burnt sienna. And these are all Turner Acrylic Gouache. So now I'm going to take that orange right off the area that we painted in with the brown and start working the wing out. And now I'm not going to be really specific yet because the bottom wing has to get put in also, but I just need to get this so you can see where his wings are. His, her, I don't know if it's a male or a female. Now, the reason why I called this Pretty Poison is because pretty much if a butterfly is orange or red or like bright yellow, they have a poison in them that makes it not as tasty for animals to munch on them. So the orange color is basically just a signal that says, hey guys, I don't taste good. I'm going to upset your tummy if you eat me. So now I'm going to take the black and burnt sienna. And if there's a bit of that orange in my brush, that's okay. We're going to work on that bottom wing. The bottom wing kind of comes out a little bit here. And it's underneath of that top wing. So, there we go. Yeah, Mark doesn't sleep. He paints all the time. Yep, so my wings are coming down farther. My butterfly is a little bit bigger. If somebody comes in and is watching this without the chat on, you won't understand sometimes when I'm talking about something because I am just replying to a question or a statement that somebody made. So let's see here. I have made this wing come down a little bit farther, so I'm going to make sure that this other wing comes down just as far. And yes, butterflies do have very specific patterns to make them, you know, show up as a certain type of butterfly. But, you know, we're making a painting. We don't have to make it exactly the way it's made. I'm probably going to simplify him just a little bit. Him, her, it, they, them. You never know what I'm going to come up with. Yeah, thank you. I'm pretty happy with how the butterfly is coming along here. So sometimes your butterfly will end up being a little bit off center or not balanced. That's okay because think about it. Butterfly could be tipped just slightly. So one set of wings could be higher up than the other. I'm going to go ahead and start putting in a little bit of that darker brown on that top edge. And then coming down Just wiggle it in. Just wiggle it in. He will have a light margin right on the very edge that's like little hairs. And that will make him stand out from the background. And I am going to work the orange out a little bit farther. But for right now, this works. You can do really, really super duper detailed paintings with gouache or your acrylic paints. I've seen some photorealism that people have done that just completely blew me away. I am not a photorealistic painter. I like a certain level of realism, but I'm not going to slave over it. All right, so let's see here. Let's fill in the rest of that top part of that wing, and then we can go in and I didn't wash my brush out. You saw that? I just went and picked up some of that orange paint. Neat thing about that is that it gives that little guy some depth in his wing. I think I'm going to go and just pick up some dirty orange and do the same thing over here. Look how nicely this lays. The bright color is laying right over the dark color. Ooh, butterfly songs. I don't know any specific butterfly songs. Right, the last couple days I have said something about a song, haven't I? That I had roaming around in my head. Anybody have a butterfly song? I am painterly. Yeah. Now down here at the base of his little wings, the bottom wings, there's some of that orange. And it's kind of coming along and an edge, sort of straightish, not perfect. So I'm going to put a line down and sort of stroke through it with my brush to make it less perfect. I'm also going to give him that sort of scalloped edge just by pulling down. Let's see. You know, it's not perfect. It doesn't have to be. Let's see if I can do that a little bit easier for you to see. So we're coming along. Boom, 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 boom. And then stroking through and leaving little scallops. But nothing perfect. No, that's a saying that was, who was, oh yeah, the fighter, Muhammad Ali, the boxer, would say, float like a butterfly and sting like a bee. All right, so what I'm going to do now is take some of the black into the burnt sienna orange type stuff, and I'm going to come in and make a little dot on each of those little scallop marks that we made. Just makes them look a little bit more specific. And if I don't get it perfect, I'm not too worried about it. that's actually not looking too bad. You know, there's more work going on here. There's definitely more work going on. Clean up that little edge right there. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Butterfly kisses. Aren't those the kisses that you do with your eyelashes on a cheek? I think that's what the butterfly kisses are. I'm going to take some of the white and sort of let my brush dry out just a little bit. Not really dry out, but sort of get a little bit fuzzy on the edge. We're just going to do little hairs. Butterflies have hairs and scales to their wings, and that's what gives them that sort of iridescence or shimmer. Just like that. There's a little bit of some like dry brushing coming in along this edge here. Oh, that's pretty. Okay, so I'm going to flip this so I can get those pretty little hairs along the outside edge of this wing. It sort of cleans up that outside edge a bit, softens it just a bit, makes it feel maybe a little bit more real. And then he's got a little bit of that brushiness coming on here. And oh, he actually has that little white fluffy outline going around the outside of his wings here too. Just let your bristles get a little dried out. And so we'll see some of it out here. You won't really see much of it down here, a little bit in the flower. It's going to not be as easy to see. Let's see, need to get that little bit there. I'm going to go ahead and do it all the way along, just because. Right now I'm adding white to the butterfly. Down in the bottom petals, the bottom wing, I used black and burnt sienna mixed together. And I'm going to have to clean that up just a little bit because I kind of went over it. A little bit messy. A little bit messy. Yes, he's going to get his spots. There's almost a gray brushed in area right along little hairies that are a bit more gray. Almost like a powdery gray. Neat thing about gouache is that you can get that effect so easily. You can get it with your acrylics also. It's just being matte really gives you that kind of powdery effect to it. Alrighty then. There we go. Just knocked into my mouse. Let's get Bit of that coming out the side this way, powdery. And now his body needs a bit more of definition. I think I got his head a little big compared. So what we'll do, first off, we can trim his head down. By just painting in some of that background. There we go. Just paint in some of that flower that's there. That makes me feel better about his head. And now we'll take some of the black and brown and give him a little bit darker brushed in area here for the underwing. I am pretty rough with my brushes, so don't use your best watercolor brushes for this. I tend to scrub with my brushes a lot. Scrub those colors down so that they're not as harsh. They blend out, feather out, look almost more like scaly type bits. And I'm not as happy with that being quite so light. So we'll just go over that edge just a bit with that darker color. Not wipe it out completely, because when you work it out thin, you can get the transitions. The paint sticks to the paint. You don't have to worry about it being underbound. Little details. Little details. Yeah, I like the little details. I like being able to change something with just, one brush stroke can change it completely. So it's a good thing and it's a bad thing. If one brush stroke can change the whole thing, All right. So I see that let's see. You don't really see a shadow from the butterfly here, but I do want to get his body darker. So I'm going to take more black with just a tiny bit of burnt sienna in it. And I want to give his body a little bit more definition. So his body is a bit of a squished diamond for the thorax, which is that middle part of his body, and that's actually where the wings are attached. And then the abdomen is the part that's trailing off behind. There we go. And then we'll put a little bit of that brushy gray type of color on there again. It's a playing back and forth with your colors. It's almost like little hairs on the thorax. A little bit of a highlight maybe. There we go. Oh, that's feeling a lot better. We're going to go in and get those dots put on here and see what oh yes, and his antennas. Get the dots and the antennas. So the dots are going to be orange, brown, and black. more of the black in it, but I didn't want it to be just perfectly black. I wanted it to be a mixture so that it blended in with the butterfly more. So I'm looking here going 1, 2, 3, and then go to the other side and do 1, 2, 3. And then he's got, I mean, these really look like fish scales. I'm making them a lot softer. He's got one that's back here that's about 2 of those little scaly bits wide. And then he's got one that comes back behind that that's about 1. Find the way that it makes sense to you to put the spots in. You don't have to be perfectly symmetrical, but be similar. I mean, if you look at them, they're not perfectly symmetrical on the reference even. So now below this one, I'm going to drop in a dot and another dot. And then there's another one that's here. It's another like 2s. And I see a single little dot right here on that one, but I don't see it on the other one. So now I'm going to rotate that because it's easier to pull than it is to push. So this one, I see there's the 2 little scaly bits there, and another that actually looks like 1, but I'll kind of make it look 2-ish. Okay, that's looking good. Now there's some stronger little dots. Right along the edge, I see a little dot pulling down this way and another one kind of pulling in that way. And then there's just like a dust of little dots, like stippling, but not really stippling because I am not taking that much time to put that in. Oh, wow. I think I want to darken up underneath of that wing just a little bit and pull it down in. There we go. And up here on this one, on the other wing to the side, so we've got a little bit pulling down, a little bit pulling down, and some stippling, which is just bouncing your little brush up and down with a bit of paint on it, not too much. And I think I'm even going to just let it dry brush a little bit more out into the orange. And this butterfly, if you look at it, you don't really see those segment spaces in here. So this is my 100% job. So all of doing YouTube videos, teaching online art classes, this is my 100% job. Not a second job anymore. It was, for several years, this was a second job. Now it's my 100% job. I've been doing it 100% for the last year. Oh, look at that. Now, I'm looking at this because I put a little stemmy bit out here and I put a little stemmy bit over here. I'm going to go ahead and put a couple of those little flowers just to give it a little more balance. And I think I'm going to have to put just a little plop of white. Whoa. Little tiny bit of white, not much. And, ooh, let's see. I know I haven't used it anywhere else in the painting, but these flowers, when they're closed, there's a tiniest little bit of a pinky purpliness to them. So I'm going to go ahead and just, there it is, just try and do a couple little buds. You notice my brush is getting more and more fluffy because when I wiped it out, I kind of smushed it into my paper towel. And let's go ahead and put a bit of a fluffy right there with just the tiniest little hint of purple on it. Gives that little purpley pink color. This would be a really easy way to do clover. Let's see. Let's get that sort of drawn on a little more. These little buds are all curled in like this. So that's why I'm letting my brush stroke sort of pull around so it looks like a little puffball that's all curled in on itself. And there's going to be one right there. Tiny tip of purple. I mean, I probably didn't have to put even that much out. But, you know, sometimes you just have to put something out. Now this little guy, these little flowers that are out here, they do have a bit of a green and yellow base to them. And of course, I have to put a little bit more yellow, and I have green, but I need some more yellow. Just a tiny, tiny little splurt. Not much. I'm taking the yellow, I'm taking some of that mid green, and mix those down together. More yellow, more yellow. And we are going to go in and do this little cup. Yeah, maybe the darker green. Little cup right around the base of those flowers. In that darker color. Again, I'm not being too worried about being totally specific. Let's just have fun. So we've got that. I've got to put a little stem or something on that one at some point, but more yellow, just a tiny touch of green, and just brushing in just a little bit of that green. Again, it's just a little bit to give us the indication of that little, it looks almost like a little net cup around the petals before it opens up. I appreciate you guys being here so much. This is my consistency right now. You know how we all need something that's something consistent that we're doing? This is my consistency. Coming in here and doing a painting with you guys. So yes, I am going to have to do things during during the month of May to add to my consistency level. You know, I want to take a tiny little bit of that green into the yellow, and then a bit more yellow, and then a lot more yellow. Because what that does is it gives us just that little touch of difference. It gives us a little touch of difference, a little touch of, oh yeah, that petal is actually a little bit more specific. That center is a little bit more focused. And, well, thank you. I really, really am happy with how this is turning out, guys. I hope you are. And if this is your first time here, please go ahead and click that subscribe button. So that's like the highlight on one of those little stems. Little highlight on the stem, little highlight on the flower. Little highlight on this leaf. Maybe out here on the tip of that leaf. I want to soften this one up just a bit. Because I just put it on, I can soften it just a bit. There we go. And soften that one up just a bit. You want it to look like it's there, but you don't want to look like you made it be there. You want it to look like it just happened. All right, so something that is just making me, I just need to do it. I'm going to take a little bit of the green. And now this is not totally necessary. I want to put a bit of a shadow on the bottom of those little stems. I'm letting it be dry. I need underneath of that flower to have a bit of a shadow under that stem, under that leaf. Little details, little details. And maybe even a touch of the black with a touch of the white, and get a bit of a gray going. I just want a little bit of a shadow coming out around that flower. I know it's very subtle. It's not. This is called fiddling. This is the little bitty bits that just make me happy to do. So if you're done, you're done. You don't have to do all these extra little fiddly bits. But I want that flower behind to kind of get washed back just a little bit. I don't want it to be quite so bright. There we go. A little bit of a shadow in the center. Even though you don't really see that shadow in the center, emotionally, I need a shadow. It's an emotional shadow. Little details. Little details. Not anything that you have to really do. You don't have to do these. They're just my little things, and sometimes I go too far. So take that as it is. Sometimes I do go too far, but I don't think I did this time. All right, let's sign. Oh, nope, got to put his antennas on. I'm going to use the rigger. You know, it's the little details just that. I think that's why I like doing Zentangle pattern tangling. Anybody interested in seeing some of that with pen and ink? Let me know. I'm going to go in with the rigger and do one antenna that way and one antenna this way. Don't forget the horns. You did it. You reminded me. I think I'm going to use a little bit of this orange actually to do my signature this time. I know it's a little bright. It's a little bit brighter than the I guess I could put a little brown in it too. Do my signature. The rigger. It's not a full signature, it's just my initials in a special little box. I think that looks good. Looks almost like an oriental type of thing. All right, we're going to take the tape off. It's going to look so pretty. Desk wide view. So yeah, we have my messy desk now. You guys can see how messy I get when I'm working. There we go. So now we'll pull the tape off. Be careful, pull your tape to the angle, nice tight angle away. I do reuse my tape at least once. Pull it away. Oh, a little piece of tape there. And one more. And so I do have some of those little splotchy bits that overshot my tape. No big deal. Isn't that pretty? I hope that you guys have an awesome weekend. Join me back here on Monday, 9:15 a.m., and we will be doing a fun painting. I believe it is Twirling Dancer, which I'll be getting all of my videos up scheduled this afternoon, so you'll be able to see what it looks like. But it's for Feel the Music prompt. And remember that liking, subscribing, sharing are all ways to support my channel that don't cost you any money ever. I appreciate it. And all the information for supporting my channel in other ways and for the materials that I used are listed down below in the more information box also. I really want you to take care of yourself, do something creative, and then you are able to take care of others. Yeah, I said that in a totally mixed up way, didn't I? Do something creative. Take care of yourself so you can take care of those around you. There we go. And I'll see you guys back here again really soon. Bye-bye.